This is Bean to Barstool, a podcast that looks at the intersections of craft chocolate, craft beer, and other artisan drinks. My name is David Nilsson. I'm a professional drinks writer, an advanced cicerone, the author of Pairing Beer and Chocolate, and the creator and host of this show. The music for this episode is by my dear friend, indie folk musician Anna P.S. You can find out more about Anna's music in the show notes or on annapsmusic.com. You can find links and information about our guests in the show notes as well. I hope you enjoy this episode of Bean to Barstool. Hey everyone, welcome to Bean to Barstool. I am recording this on Monday morning, having just gotten back from the second annual Midwest Craft Chocolate Festival in Rushville, Indiana, running from Friday through Saturday. It was a very busy 36 hours, but a really exciting time. This is such a unique festival. One of the things that I love about this festival that makes it unique is it is not primarily attended by existing invested craft chocolate fans. It is attended largely by locals, folks from Rushville and the surrounding area. Now, you definitely get plenty of craft chocolate fans traveling in from other areas to attend, but it is mostly folks from the community who are excited to have this festival right in their hometown. So it's kind of a different group than you're typically expecting at a craft chocolate fest, and really provides a fun environment and attitude of curiosity and open-mindedness that's really fun. The town goes out of its way to be welcoming to the visitors, especially to the vendors, those of us involved with the festival, in a little like gift bag that we get every year. So these last 2 years, they have local school children write welcome notes to us to like welcome us to the town. And it's not just like a little one sentence scribbled thing. It's like a full page like letter, like telling us why they're glad we're in the town. And I don't think that these are intended for specific vendors, but just by chance, the young person who wrote our letter was recommending in there the brewery in the town, Fish Moon. They're like, I hope you check out Fish Moon while you're here. And it's really cute, and it's a really nice touch. Got to meet a bunch of folks for the first time in real life who I've known online for quite a while. That's always one of the perks of going to events like this. Ran into Lauren Lowe from Opening Chocolate, Jake Potter from Red Rock Chocolate out in Utah. Incidentally, Jake is working on putting together his own chocolate festival out in Utah, so keep an eye on that. We'll share more information about that here on the show as I have that. Got to spend some time with Liang Wang from Kesho Chocolate. We're probably going to try to have her on the show pretty soon. She has an amazing story and is making some of the most unique concept of bars in craft chocolate right now, using flavor ingredients and flavor concepts that are not the first thing a lot of people might think of to put into chocolate, but just she does it in such a thoughtful way, and you get these amazing flavor expressions from that. Got to meet Max Gandy for the first time online. I mean, we've known each other online for many, many years. She's been on the show before, but we had just never run into each other in person. So got to have some face-to-face time there for a little bit. Got to talk again with the folks from Yellowbird Chocolate and Albion Malibu Brewing, Jenny Risner-Wade and Ben Wade, who run those two companies. We've had them on the show before. Always fun to spend time with them, and we're looking at maybe doing some events coming up together. Hopefully I can get up there to the brewery and the chocolate shop. We're talking about putting together some kind of pairing, so I'll share more information about that as we have it. On Saturday, the main day of the festival, I gave a couple of talks. I gave one presentation on collaborations between craft chocolate and beverage alcohol. So all sorts of different opportunities for working together, primarily focused on craft chocolate bars made with alcohol or alcohol ingredients, and the processes for that, and different ingredients and how we see those used, and the different types of drinks and all that kind of thing. It was well attended, had a great audience for that. I always enjoy giving that talk. And then in the afternoon, I led a ticketed tasting of bars that were infused with beer or spirits or ingredients thereof. Had a really fun small group for that. It was interesting with that event. Most events that I'm leading, whether it's in beer or chocolate, are for consumers, fans who are just coming to an event. For this tasting, most of the folks who attended were either chocolate professionals or chocolate devotees. So it was a different level of knowledge and involvement, and it was fun to get their informed feedback on some of the different bars that we were tasting. So that was a lot of fun. On a Friday, the most of the day was a vendors only event where we all got together in a conference room, and there were some different talks and educational presentations and questions and answers and sharing knowledge. Lila Carvajal Erker from Cocoa Supply, who's the main sponsor of the festival, did a really cool presentation, interactive presentation, showing us all how to cut and evaluate cacao beans. So she had several different batches of beans and gave us the tools to be able to do that, and then showed us what types of defects we should be looking for and went around and helped us evaluate those. It was so cool. Unlike beer, which can be made anywhere directly from its ingredients, and we can go to a brewery and see how that's done, cacao is one of those things where certain parts of the process typically happen a long way away from us here in North America. We can make the chocolate, but the growing and harvesting and processing and evaluating of the cacao happens in countries where it is grown. So unless we're traveling, we don't really get that hands-on component for that part of the process. So this was a really cool way to be able to understand a little bit more of how that work is done on site. Really appreciate Lila doing that. I also gave a short presentation during that portion of the event, talking about how craft chocolate makers can better work with media to get their stories out and what are some important things that they need to start doing to be able to do that. Had a really good response to that. That might be something that I spend some more time on sometime soon, whether that's here on the podcast or a separate outlet to be able to provide more of that information for craft chocolate makers. And then, of course, I left the festival with a ton of chocolate. That's always, of course, the best part of these events. So I want to real quick run through the bars that I came back with, because some of these are from makers that I was either not familiar with or just hadn't had the chance to have their bars yet. First off, the amazing Barb Genuario, who is one of the festival organizers and just an all-around wonderful human being, showed up at my booth while I was setting up on Friday. Bean to Barstool had a table in the vendors market. Just showed up with a bag of chocolate bars that she has picked up for me recently that she knew I would be excited about. And she's amazing. Thank you, Barb. So all of these bars that she had found for me are alcohol infused. Some I was aware of previously, some I was not. She brought me 2 bars from Sleepwalk Chocolate in Chicago, who is working with some breweries there in the area to make some beer-infused bars, specifically working with barrel-aged beers. So we got the Benthic bar made with Half Acres Benthic barrel-aged Imperial Stout, and a bar made with Revolution Brewing's DBXOD Le Trances, which, if I'm not mistaken, is a barrel-aged barley wine. So really excited to try those. Powhatan Chocolates. This was a maker I wasn't familiar with, but this bar is a 72% dark chocolate made with bourbon. So I need to look into the chocolate maker a little bit more, as well as tasting that one. From Lucid Chocolatier, she brought me a 78% dark chocolate made with Muscat, a Australian fortified wine. Mike and Becky and Friends, 72% Eau de Beer, which I had to look up. Eau de Beer is basically a gin distilled from beer. So I don't have much detail on that. I'm going to be looking into it more to find out more about both that drink and then the bar itself. And then finally, Lurka Chocolate, 75% infused with vermouth. So Big thanks to Barb for bringing me those. I can't wait to try them, and you know that I will be sharing all those tasting notes here on Bean to Barstool, of course. And then stuff that I grabbed as I was running around to the different tables in between dealing with customers at mine. Uh, we were tabled right next to Cacao y Mas Cacao, which is a tree to bar farm and chocolate maker in Colombia. The whole family was there, and they had four different percentages of their bars of bars made with their cacao. I tasted several of them and ended up bringing home the 70%. Really delicious. So I will be sharing more information on that and on the maker soon. Eka chocolate out of Madagascar. Got to spend some time talking with Fanja Fallbush, who runs Eka. She is doing some work to try to get some specific areas in Madagascar recognized for their cacao and get some kind of designations for one particular area that it normally does not get attention. I will get some more information on that to be able to share specifics soon. But got her 72% dark, and then also a 65% bar made with baobab pulp, which I have definitely never tasted in my life. So I'm very excited to taste through that and get a new sensory experience. Cashew, as I mentioned, was there. Cashew is amazing. My wife, Melinda, grabbed a bunch of bars. I don't have those in front of me right now, but I grabbed her salted plum. I'm looking forward to tasting that. And like I said, we will be getting Liang Wang on the show sometime soon. London Co. at Peace on Fifth was set up, which meant that I got to restock on some bars from the Great Stranger chocolate out of Ukraine. She had their 70% Uganda Buganzo bar, which is an origin from them I've never had, and then also a whiskey-infused 70%. I don't have any information on the whiskey they used or their process, so hopefully I can reach out to them and get some more information, but I'm excited about those. Grabbed a Hatch chili and blue corn bar from Embers. Embers is doing some great stuff working with flavor ingredients from the desert Southwest. They're in Arizona. So really excited to see how Hatch chili works in a bar. From the aforementioned Red Rock chocolate in Utah, I grabbed their Temptation bar, which is made with vanilla-infused bourbon and smoked sea salt. And then also their Thailand single origin, 70%. Yellowbird chocolate, grabbed their winter truffle collection, which is actually made with truffle mushrooms. So really fun flavor interactions there. The festival is co-organized by Dustin Cornett, who runs Chocolate Cafe, which is in Rushville, Indiana. And at the festival, he was debuting their new collaborations with Hard Truth Distilling. So I picked up both of the bars that are coming out of that collaboration, a 70% dark made with sweet mash rye and a 55% dark milk made with bourbon. Very excited to try those. From Sweets Escalier, which I knew by name but have not had any bars from. They're out of Japan. I grabbed their Cuba single origin and their Cuba smoked bar. So I'm excited to taste those side by side. Encore Chocolate, making some of the best coffee chocolate bars in the country right now. I grabbed the Cafe Mocha and the Vanilla Latte. I would have grabbed a couple more, but by the time I got to his table, he had sold out of some of the other bars. They're quite popular. So if you are into coffee-infused chocolate, definitely check out Encore. He roasts coffee, actually started in coffee, and then started into making craft chocolate. So he has a background with the coffee and can do it fresh right there, and then infuse that into the bars. So he understands both sides of that really, really well, and it shows in the finished bars. And then my friends at Yehoa out of Honduras, Elmer and his family, we grabbed several bars from them, tried his espresso bar. He ran over to the table and brought me a sample of this, and it is fantastic. A friend of his has a coffee farm, and the character of the coffee in this bar was so bright and true and distinctively espresso. And working with a bar of chocolate, it's odd to think of the coffee character being able to actually represent a different brewing format, because that's not how the bars are made. But it really did taste like espresso rather than like drip coffee or anything else. So really delightful. And then one of the most surprising bars was also from Yehoa. We got their white chocolate with anise avocado, 42% bar. During the Friday vendor session, a bunch of makers had provided samples so that everybody could be tasting through different things while the talks were going on. And I picked up the sample from this bar, and all I saw was avocado. So I put it in my mouth, it's green. I put it in my mouth expecting just like that creamy avocado, and instantly got this black licorice anise flavor. And looked down and saw the anise avocado and that I had missed. And so I thought what it was an avocado base, and he added anise to it. Talking to him later on when he came over to my booth, turns out anise avocado is actually a type of avocado that grows wild in Honduras. I don't know how wide the geography of its range is, where else it grows, but at least in Honduras, grows wild, it's not cultivated, and it just naturally tastes like anise. And it's not like a little accent. I mean, it is distinctly an anise black licorice flavor. Had no idea this even existed. So learned about a whole new type of avocado, whole new type of tree, and the flavor just blew me away. It's like if you just gave this to a person, they would not want to believe that this did not have licorice or anise or something like that added to it. It is so distinct. So fascinating bar using an ingredient local to him. So really cool stuff there. Coming up soon, like I've mentioned, gonna get Kesho on the show sometime soon. And we'll be sharing information about some of these makers and bars as I gather more of that going forward. Big thanks to the town of Rushville, to Barb and Dustin and the other organizers. Thank you so much for putting this event together and for welcoming us to Rushville. Thanks to everybody who attended the event. Really fun time. And like I said, it's exciting to go to a festival where everybody isn't like an existing craft chocolate fan. These are locals who are learning about craft chocolate, and they're excited and they're open to it. And it's great to have this kind of in our backyard rather than having to go to a big city on the coast just to get around some craft chocolate folks. So really cool festival. Looking forward to next year already. Next week, I will have a full episode out with a beer educator who was encountering craft chocolate and pairing chocolate and beer for the first time during our conversation. So look forward to that. Thanks so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed this bonus episode of Bean to Barstool, looking back at the second annual Midwest Craft Chocolate Festival. Cheers.